because the video is so egregious, even though, as we agree, the hand opens. Like, if he lands with a closed fist, we got some blood on the court. I'm pretty sure he's going to do some serious damage. And that would call for more than a suspension. You know, he might be gone for the year if you connect like that. But the point is, he did do what he did in response to what Gobert was doing to Clay, which brings me to the conflict here. There's a whole lot to like about Draymond, a whole lot to like.
No question.
He has a great personality. He has great charisma. He might be the next Charles Barkley on TNT, because I think they already have a connection and a deal where he's going to segue at some point fairly soon into a TNT career. And you know him well enough that you've sat down and had meals with him. He's fun to be around.
Yeah.
And he has been a rock for that team for a long time, because that team could not have done what it did without the enforcement that he brought to a finesse basketball team. And I'm not saying he's a classic 70s, 80s enforcer type, because I don't know that he's a real badass tough guy. But by today's standards, he's a tough guy. And by their standards, he is the toughest guy, because they needed the edge that he brought to them. And they needed the basketball, and I don't use this word lightly, the basketball genius that he brought to them, because he's got some genius about him, because he's Rodman-esque. He's not the greatest athlete. He's not a leaper. He's not the most athletic guy, but they run the whole offense through him. That one of the greatest offenses ever has run through this man, because he has such a great feel for getting Steph and Clay their shots, for getting everybody in the right place at the right time. And I don't think he's gotten enough credit for that.
Right.
But the problem is, he started to go a little over the edge and a little more over the edge. And I think the NBA liked it to an extent, because it's almost like the NHL, you know, they kind of sold fighting during the regular season because it helps sell the game. So some of the edge is good, because some of it's fun to watch. Some of it's highly entertaining. Until finally he went, you brought it up, Game 4, 2016 finals. And he went a little over the edge, as he was already starting to kick in the midsection. He kicked Steven Adams, and I think there are a couple other kicks in the midsection. And now we're in Game 4 of the finals, and he loses it because he gets sick and tired of LeBron whining about calls and this and that, and he screams the B word at him so audibly that Kiki Vandeweghe, the Minister of Justice for the league at that point, is in like the third row, and he can hear it. They don't like it because it's not what they want to sell as a product. Right. And then he follows it up by going up to the other end, and he and LeBron get tangled up, and he kicks him in the midsection.
See,
you're gone.
If you look at it, though, Steve.
Oh,
no.
What
are we doing?
Close enough.
Yeah, right. He's in the ballpark. If you look at it, when they've won championships, his behavior hasn't been this.
No.
When they've lost the championship, well, like you just mentioned in 2016, or not getting to the championship, his behavior has essentially been this.
It has been this.
And so, in the end, is it worth? Well, it's obviously it was worth it to bring him back and give him $100 million again, because that's what the Golden State Warriors thought. Now, are they looking at this and saying to themselves, this is too much management on our part? Well, every single other day.
I think they should have after last year. It was him or Jordan Poole. Obviously, we know the incident preseason last year.
Here's another guy here's another guy that I feel wasn't going to defend himself against the Draymond.
No, he was not going to defend himself.
You know, and some people know these sort of things when they go at certain people.
They know, but did Jordan Poole say something to him that was so over the edge that it almost warranted a punch? Maybe.
I wish I knew.
Right. Okay, I wish I knew too. But if I know Draymond, I think something got said that was way below the belt.
Yeah,
but
multiple times probably.
As the leader of the team, maybe not the leader, because Steph is probably but as a leader of that basketball team, you have to know in your deepest subconscious, there's one line you can't cross. You can't punch him for it. You can talk to him about it. You can go back at him all you want, but you can't deck him in front of the rest of the team.
Yes.
Okay? So he did. And all of a sudden, you're on a collision course where now, once you throw that punch, somebody's got to go. And they tried to muddle through last year, and it didn't work.
Well, somebody had to go because it went public.
It went public. And by the way, somebody leaked that video, or we would not be having this.
Even if they didn't leak it and we never saw it, it still was going to cause a rift amongst everybody on the court.
It would have caused a rift, but fights happen all the time. And I've been part of teams where these are fist fights, and then you shake hands, and then you go on about your day.
Yeah, but a sucker punch is different than me and you squaring up.
Yeah.
See, a sucker, if I walked up to you, Richard, and we was in Seattle, and I just sucker punched you because you said I was too tall, and I just decided to sucker punch you, that is going to damage the infrastructure of a team, no matter how good we are.
Our sucker punch is debatable, because if I'm standing you there face to face and I push you, but then we go down a tangent on that. But if I push you and we face to face, I know we got conflict.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting you to hit me.
But sucker punch is you ain't looking, you ain't expecting conflict. I'm coming from the side, you know. So what I'm saying is, if it doesn't go public and it's not on social media and we're not talking about it on talk shows every day, I don't know if Jordan Poole is in Washington right now, because like you said, Jordan had these fights. There's probably been plenty of fights that have happened in the NBA that you never heard about. And guys just like, hey, we good? Like, hey, we need to get that out. Cool. Let's go on about the season, and
I get your point.
Yeah, but Jordan's was different with Steve Kerr. It wasn't the same as that with Draymond.
You don't know what it was, because we don't see it. I guarantee if we had video of it and we saw it.
We only read about it in Sam Smith's book. Yeah.
And then people can paint the picture however they want it. But if we had a video of it and they were talking about it on talk shows, and Steve Kerr got decked and he was on the ground asleep at practice, we'd be talking about a whole different conversation.
That would be good.
It wouldn't be good. And so, but since we can see everything, and that's why this social media age, this age where everybody's accessible.
I agree.
It changes the narrative.
To your point, there are two kinds of fights. There's one where you're going back and forth, and you say, well, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do about it. Now you have squared up.
I got my defense mechanism up.
We're on level playing field.
Absolutely.
This is, he just hauled off and decked him, and I think the most shocked guy in the building was Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole. Even if I push you, Richard, even if I push you and I'm walking away from you and you roll up on me, I'm not expecting you as my teammate to haul off and try and break my jaw.
Key.
Just not.
Key. You from a very similar place of where I'm from.
Absolutely.
If I'm standing there nose to nose with you, and you saw my demeanor when I walked up, and you push me, and you can look me in my eye. You look when you look into somebody in their eyes. Skip, it's different. That's why it's not a sucker punch. If I'm looking you in your eye, I see
but it's one thing in the neighborhood.
There you go, Skip. I was just about to say that. It's a sucker punch because I know who you are, and you ain't gonna do nothing to me, and I know you're not gonna do nothing to me. So therefore, I'm gonna take my best shot to try to break your jaw.
So you saying he punched the sucker?
Well, I mean, you call it whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
He didn't punch me. That's for damn sure. Because to this day, we would still be fighting.
That's what I'm saying.
They would have had to separate both of them.
All right.
But in the end, I feel like Draymond knows who to pick on. That's why he does some of these things.
Yep.
And he's only hurting his team.
Right.
They are 2-5 with his suspensions and all those sort of things. They're 2-5, man. And then their total record is 10-13.
10-13.
And Steve Kerr is looking at this thing saying, we thought we were going to run this back a certain way, and it's not happening. And now I got a guy that I benched another guy for that's supposed to take care of business for us in the fourth quarter. 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, he gets ejected because he does something even stupid. Now, all of a sudden, we're looking at 10-plus games potentially on the suspension side.
Right, no question.
Now, you're missing even more games that's going to cost us even more.
So, Skip, what do they do with him in the offseason, you think?
Again, last
Somebody gotta be able to
I
take
would have said no, but somebody's going to, or they maybe trade deadline. Why is Bob Myers sitting on the set with ESPN right now doing basketball commentary instead of running a basketball team? Because he saw this handwriting on that locker room wall, and he said, I'm going to get out while the getting is good because I don't see this thing working much longer, and it's starting to tailspin.
Unravel a little bit.
It's just starting to unravel. So I say
I think we'll
they
take him
should.
in L.A. though.
Okay. Well, you know what? But if you put him with LeBron, I think LeBron would be able to sort
That's
of.
what I say. They're the
right.
same family now.
Yeah.
They're the same
Right.
family. That's what I think we can take him in
So,
L.A.
so the one incident that got me, the last quick point, is what happened after game or during game one of 2 years ago at Memphis when he got ejected there and he took a wild victory lap. And I'm like, you've lost it, man. This is clownish. This is where am I like a wrestling heel, like a wrestling villain now? What am I doing? And he goes straight back to his hotel room and goes live on his podcast.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Okay.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that for him.
Yeah.
Based on what you just said.
Yeah.
It looks clown. Like it just looks. It doesn't. It don't look good.
It looked like a caricature.
Yeah, it looked like a caricature.
Caricature.
Yeah.
These
Absolutely.
are the Warriors.
Yeah.
This was a dynasty,
like that when he
thanks
did it.
in part to him.
And another thing I really don't like is it takes attention away from the teammates. Steph Curry is one of the greatest to ever play. To ever play this game.
Sure.
He's on a lot of people's
Absolutely.
Mount Rushmore of greatest point guards, as he should be. But then you got Draymond getting attention for this. It's almost like you start to downplay what Steph's doing. You don't even get to pay attention to it. Steph's having a great season. You know, they're not winning, they're 10-13, but he's having a great season. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and you're not allowing this team to have the success and his teammates to get the shine that they deserve because we're sitting here talking about Draymond getting ejected for slapping somebody in the face. And so that's where I'm a big fan of Draymond, like I said. And Draymond, he took responsibility. Hey, that was wrong. I can apologize. But you got to take responsibility about not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
You can't just keep slapping people.
It's almost like that franchise got addicted to Draymond, and now they can't win with him or without him, so they think. And so they keep clinging to the past, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. But the commissioner is going to come down hard on this because that was a bad look. Whether he connected hard or not, it looks really bad.
Yeah, and you say, well, they couldn't live without him or with him and all that. I don't think they envision what was it? It's been 3 ejections in 31 days, something like that. I don't think they envisioned that when they signed him back. Yeah, maybe he gets ejected. Maybe there's one suspension because of the ejections, but not the 2 acts that have taken place with Rudy Gobert and then now Nurkic. I don't think that they envisioned that at all when they made the decision to re-sign him and bring him back.
I think tomorrow we will lead this show with the length of the suspension because I think it'll come down fairly quickly today.
Or the Cowboys. Oh, no, the Cowboys don't play.
No, they don't play. They don't play tonight, I don't think. But if they do, they'll win. All right, up next, we got to talk about this. Richard clued me in last night to this. Cam Newton expresses some very controversial